on that, but I wish to believe that since impeachment complaint is a very sensitive document, perhaps the staff do not have the necessary confidence to take action or even receive that without the instruction or authority coming from the Secretary General herself.
Di ba? Chairperson pa lang ho ng Justice Committee dyan sa House of Representatives, alam na ho natin na lalaruin nila yung unang impeachment complaint na isinampa laban dito kay Marcos Jr. Dito sa video na to, pasadaan din ho natin ang video nitong si Atty. Trixie Cruz Angeles, Holding the President Accountable. Naku, title pa lang, talagang sigurado gaganahan ng ating mga kababayan. Pero bago yan, sa like at sa subscribe, masaya na ho tayo dyan, at sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community, yung join button nandiyan lang ho sa baba. Dito sa video na to, re-recta ho tayo sa interview nitong si Baculaw, nito si Jinky Luis Troy, yung yan, nag-turtleneck na siya kasi doon sa huling video nito, sa tingin ko napansin niya na yung ano niya, yung para siyang nasubsub sa sa espasol. Mukha lang niya puti, leg niya kulay itim. Diba? Talagang ano ho ito mahilig niyang ipresenta sarili niya na napakaganda, pero sa totoo lang ho napakabakulaw ho ng alin na yan. Ito, hindi lang ho pangit ang itsura niyan, pangit din ho ang pag-uugali. Diba? Kung di ba naman pangit ang ugali mo, anak ng toka. Kita mo na lahat ng kabalbalan ni Martin Romualdez, pero ginudiyos mo pa rin siya. Ito na ho mga kababayan, panoorin ho natin ito si Jinky. Jinky!
Congresswoman, if you would, on the second and third complaints, right? So I guess you heard the news item we ran before you, which is that Makabayan Bloc and another group led by former Congressman Chavit Singson and Mike Defensor have lodged complaints, impeachment complaints against the president. Now, the Secretary General, Cheloy Garafil, wasn't there to officially receive them. But these two groups are saying that it's deemed filed because, number one, the Makabayan Bloc left it at her office, and the second group, former Congressman Defensor, said, well, it's there's no discretion given to the SecGen to refuse the filing that usurps constitutional authority given to the lower house. What do you think?
That is actually a call that falls to the authority of the Secretary General, no? As to the parameters that she will apply in receiving or having it received whenever he is not around in the office, it is a decision that must come from her, no? I apologize that I cannot comment on that particular issue because I understand that it is Secretary SecGen Cheloy Garafil who is in the best position to answer that.
Yan, interview
But is there
kasi,
not...
tama naman, bakit nyo ini-interview si Baculaw dyan, di ba? Wala siyang kinalaman dyan sa pagtanggap na yan. Ang concern lang yan kung paano niya i-dribble yung impeachment complaint, yung unang impeachment complaint na i-refer sa committee niya sa Lunes, di ba? Yun lang ang concern yan. Alam na, ano na sila, komportable na sila, kumbaga wala nang natanggap, isa pa lang, at sigurado itong siya na to, basura, kaya nating i-dribble yan, di ba? Ano lang natin, abangan natin sa Lunes. Tayo excited bukas kung anong mga kaganapan dyan sa House of Representatives. Talaga babantayan natin yan, kasi ika nga, pagka ganyan ang ginawa nila dyan sa House, talo na naman ang sambayan ng Pilipino. Talo tayo Kasi dapat na pag-uusapan kung sino ang talagang mastermind dyan sa mga maanomalyang flood control project na yan. At etong presidente na to, hindi pa siya off the hook, ika nga. Siya ang nasa gitna ng lahat ng kabalbalan na to. Hindi siya pwedeng, hindi kasali presidente dyan. Ano yan ang pangalan to? Si Martin Romualdez yan Si Zaldico yan Hindi ganun ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. Ang House of Representatives kinasangkapan ng Malacanang para talagang durugin ng mga Duterte noong nakalipas na 3 taon. Pero mapanggang sa ngayong mga panahon na to, base sa ating nakikita, talagang namamayagpag pa ho itong mga Duterte. Ito, malaki ho ang malaki ho ang naging partisipasyon nito nga Baculaw na to sa paninira sa kay Vice President Sara Duterte at dito kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Hoy Baculaw! Kung inaakala mo na nakalimutan na namin yung kawalangyaan na ginawa mo sa nakalipas na kongreso, nagkakamali ka dyan. Ipaalala namin sa ating sasambayan ng Pilipino kung gaano kasama ugali mo at kung gaano ka kawalang kwentang congresswoman.
Anything in the House rules or House ethics protocols that defines, okay, what happened?
Tingnan nyo, di ba? Nawawala yung mukha niya kasi pati yung tawag dito, yung effects, hindi ho siya ma-recognize na tao siya. Kikita nyo ha, itong mga ali, kitang-kita na tao yung mga yan eh. Talagang tao, pero ito talaga bakulaw na bakulaw, hindi ma-recognize ang filter eh.
When the Secretary General herself or himself is away and a formal complaint is lodged, is there not such a provision?
I am not certain if there is specific rule.
Alam mo yan. Alam mo yan. Pero ayaw mo sumagot kasi parang pinapahamak mo ang House of Representatives. Ngayon naniniwala na kayo na itong si Bogie D palamuti lang yan. Pero ang kumukumpas pa rin dyan sa House of Representatives si Martin Romualdez. Naniniwala na kayo.
On that, but I wish to believe that since impeachment complaint is a very sensitive document, perhaps the staff do not have the necessary confidence to take action or even receive that without the instruction or authority coming from the Secretary General herself.
Hindi ganun ka-sensitive nung ang mga kay Andres Bautista nga, 'di ba? Yung dating COMELEC opisyal ng COMELEC ng mapanggang sa ngayong mga panahon na 'to nagtatago. Yung mama na yon tumanggap lang ho yung assistant ng SecGen. Masyado nyo namang hinahype yung impeachment. Alam naman namin na ilalaroin nyo lang yan. Pero gusto lang namin mabulgar sa sambayan ng Pilipino kung gaano kayo kawawalang kwentang congressman.
But is it also not true that the role of the office of the SecGen in cases of impeachment is only ministerial, meaning sila lang yung tagatanggap? They don't really have to exercise any discretion, Congresswoman, when it comes to that. So, how does that work? Pag absent po yung SecGen, even if for other matters, does the office stop functioning or receiving like documents and stuff?
Well, I agree that that is a ministerial function. However, it is still the power and the authority of the head of office to decide on that. And if the staff who are around in the office do not have the confidence to decide on the matter, then I believe that there is really a problem if the SecGen is not there and no one is willing to receive the impeachment complaint.
And just to clarify, obviously, it's the office of the SecGen that is tasked to receive these papers, but does she report to anyone, like is technically like the speaker, is he her boss? And so can he then kind of decide for her in her absence?
Well, under the rules, it is really the office of the SecGen who has to receive the impeachment complaint. But I don't think it is necessary for her to report to anyone concerning the discharge of this particular function.
Well, Congresswoman, one of the key issues back in the 19th Congress, if we recall, was the timing, particularly when the SecGen would need to transmit this to the office of the Speaker. And there was that word immediately. But how do we define that word? And has this been clarified in Congress already?
Well, as far as I am concerned, by immediately, it means right away, no? And as a matter of fact, the first impeachment complaint that was filed against the president, I saw it in the news, has been transmitted already to the office of the speaker. Now, with regards to the second and third impeachment complaint, I could see that it is the availability of the SecGen because, as I heard from the news, she is on official business overseas. That prompted this problem of those impeachment complaints not being received by the office of the Secretary General.
And Congresswoman, as we speak, there are now 3 impeachment complaints against the President Bongbong Marcos. But at what stage or what scenario would trigger a consolidation of all these complaints?
I understand that after the transmittal from the office of the SecGen to the office of the Speaker, the latter has a period of 10 session days to include it in the order of business of the plenary. And then the plenary has a period of 3 session days to transmit it to the Committee on Justice. Based on the Francisco ruling, it is indeed the referral of the impeachment complaint to the Justice Committee that completes the initiation process, which means that it triggers the running of the prohibition period, which provides that there should be one impeachment complaint only against one impeachable official per year. No? So I understand that once one impeachment complaint is referred to the Justice Committee, it technically bars the subsequent impeachment complaints.
Okay,
And so has the first impeachment complaint against President Marcos been referred to your committee?
Not yet, because we're still on recess and we will be resuming on January 6, no? Ang
26,
nakita ko lang sa
26.
news, it has been, that will be this coming Monday.
Yes, yes.
So, ang nakita ko lang sa news, transmitted siya sa office ni Speaker, but even the referral, the inclusion of the impeachment, the first impeachment complaint in the order of business of the plenary, I think cannot be done until and unless we have resumed our session. And that will be happening the resumption of session will be happening on January 26, this coming Monday.
You're right, Congresswoman. I did note it resumes January 26. I thought January 26 na because there's been so many things happening. I thought it was the last week of
So
January
many things
already. I
happening.
apologize for that. But have you had a chance to,
As a
okay.
matter of fact, we have not seen each other, no? Kaya, even to this time, wala pa kaming official information except those na nakikita ko sa news, no? Even the Justice Committee has not yet convened, no? Tapos yung mga Kongs, they are in their respective districts. And I think all of them are busy with their own concerns in their districts. So it will be January 6 when we will be getting the official information about this impeachment
Oh,
complaints.
so everything you know about the first impeachment complaint, you've seen on the news. You haven't seen hide nor hair of the
Yeah.
actual complaint.
Yeah.
and having said that,
Nasusubaybayan ko lang sila sa news eh.
Kami na
Sabay-sabay lang
kami na
tayo.
magbabasa for you, Congresswoman.
So, Congresswoman, having said that, no, so Monday pa magre-resume yung session, that means the second and the third complaint are not, kumbaga, in trouble or in danger of just falling out of circulation. I mean, there is still time. Although the third group said they will not refile on Monday, the second one says they left a copy there. I guess good faith na lang talaga come Monday.
I cannot comment on that because it really depends on the members of the House once they reach the plenary, no? Kasi as you have said, hindi pa sila na-receive sa office ni SecGen. After that, there should be transmittal to happen from office of SecGen to Speaker. And then from Speaker, 10 session days ba to refer it to the plenary, no? So, kung mag-abot-abot sila sa plenary, it really depends on the House members what they're going to do about it, that there are 3 impeachment complaints.
And what is your sense? I know you haven't seen your colleagues yet, but I'm sure you have chat groups, Congresswoman. As early as now, are your colleagues preparing, and you as well, and your co-members at the Committee on Justice?
Ayaw nilang magpaabala eh.
They don't want to think
They're
about
busy in
it.
their respective districts eh. No? Pero ako kasi, I am a conservative type of lawyer and I really stick to the rules. So, my concern is,
Stick to the rules. Okay lang sana kung hindi namin nakita kung paano ka bumalagbag doon sa hearing ni VP Sara. Stick to the rules, stick to the rules.
to take care and
Pakulo
receive
na
of the
talaga, oh.
impeachment complaint, which will be referred by the plenary to the Justice Committee. No, actually, what's happening in the Office of the Secretary General is really exclusive upon her. What's happening in the Office of the Speaker is exclusive upon him. What's happening or what will gonna happen in the plenary will depend really on the members of the House. Right now, we are 313. No? So kung mag-abot-abot yan sa floor, sa plenary, it depends on them whether the first impeachment complaint will be referred to the Justice Committee, which will technically bar the proceeding with respect to the 2 subsequent complaints, no? Or should they consider transmitting all these 3 at the same time? if that will happen, then we will be prompted, as far as I know, we will be prompted to consolidate these 3 impeachment complaints before the Justice Committee.
But Congresswoman, at the same time, there's a big question mark when it comes to the impeachment process because the Supreme Court has yet to rule on this pending motion for reconsideration on the impeachment complaint last year. Given that uncertainty, Congresswoman, aling rules po ba ang susundan ng Committee on Justice while we await a decision of the Supreme Court?
You're correct about that, no? But we have to distinguish under what mode ba is this impeachment complaint being filed, no? Let us share to our kababayan, our fellow countrymen. Dalawa po ang modes of filing an impeachment complaint. One is by private individual, sponsored by a House member. And this is the case in the first impeachment complaint against the President. It can also be done by the House member himself, at least for the first mode, yung dalawang yon, no? But for the second mode, ito po yung filed and verified by at least 1/3 of the members of the House. And this is what happened in the impeachment complaint against Vice President, which was declared by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional. However, there is a pending motion for reconsideration
Yan na
of the
naman
House
yung motion na yan. Alam mo naman na wala nang bitaw yung motion na yan. Sige na, okay na. May matalaga tang si Luistro.
of Representatives, which remains unresolved by the Supreme Court. To me, that decision of the Honorable Supreme Court hasn't ripened yet into a jurisprudence because it hasn't reached its finality because of the pendency of the MR. No? Now, I am sharing these 2 important modes to answer your question, anong gagawin? Halimbawang merong subsequent or second impeachment complaint. It depends. If it will be filed under the first mode, then referral to the Justice Committee is mandatory. Now, if it will be filed under the second mode, similar to the first impeachment complaint, na supported ng 1/3, there lies the problem. Because the question is, what rule are we going to apply? No? If we will be following the decision of, if the House of Representatives, because this is not my call, this is the call of all the members, if the HREP will be following the decision of the Supreme Court, technically we are withdrawing already our motion for reconsideration. No? And we have to understand also, itong notice and hearing requirement really does not appear under the Constitution and under the present rules. Nasama lang to because of the Supreme Court decision, no? Nonetheless, I wish to express my highest regard and respect to the Supreme Court, and we recognize them as the final arbiter of all controversies arising from laws and rules which are being interpreted, no? Now, if we will do the other way, follow the letters of the Constitution, which is my type of lawyer because I am conservative, I stick to the rules. If we will follow the letters of the Constitution, transmit immediately to the Senate, we might be facing another petition,
Exactly.
another petition questioning the constitutionality of that impeachment.
Kasi nga hindi nyo binibigyan ng pagkakataong sumagot yung mga na ini-impeach nyo. 'Di ba? Ang gusto lang naman ng Korte Suprema, nanggaling sa yung impeachment, dapat narinig din yung mga punto de vista nung hinahainan nyo ng impeachment. Diyan sa inyong bulwagan na yan. Anak ng tokwa, gusto nyo kasi mabilisan pagka nagbotohan. Hey, yun na, kaya siya impeach na kagad. Hindi pwede yun. Kahit kay Marcos Jr., hindi tayo papayag ng ganun. Gusto natin mapag-usapan yung mga kabuktutang ginawa niya sa mga nakalipas na panahon.
Impeachment complaint, and eventually we might be declared again as unconstitutional. So that is the problem.
Exactly. And some people we've spoken to say that perhaps that's the reason the Supreme Court has not decided on that MR yet. Because either way they rule, a lot of people will be upset. But Congresswoman, I'm sure you're also well aware.
Wala na, ayoko na tong si Luistro. Masyado ng, tingnan nyo, hindi siya nakukuha kasi pati yung filter natin nakikita na hindi siya tao. Bakulo ho talaga yan si Jingy Luistro. Dito ho tayo kay Attorney Trixie. Buti pa to, talagang ika nga matinutong abogado na to, hindi kagaya nitong si Jingy Luistro. Game!
Bill. Ang pinaka mainit ngayon na talakayan ay tungkol sa impeachment ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Ano ang impeachment? Isa itong paraan to hold the president accountable. Ano ba yung accountability? Ibig sabihin, mapanagot ang isang pangulo o leader para sa kanyang mga actions. Ngayon, ginagarantiya ng 1987 Constitution na immune from suit, bukod tanging immune from suit ang ating Pangulo. Ngunit may iba't ibang mga paraan para mapanagot siya sa ibang mga aksyon niya bilang presidente. Halimbawa, number 1, judicial accountability. Ang Korte Suprema ay maaaring mag-declare, may power sila to declare official acts, executive orders, proclamations, memoranda, circulars as unconstitutional. So makikita natin na itong listahan po na ito na inuumpisahan natin ngayon ay tungkol sa accountability for official acts. Okay. So, sa mga acts niya, katulad ng paglalabas ng mga unconstitutional na executive orders or other issuances or iba't iba pang mga utos ng Pangulo, maaaring i-reverse ito ng Korte Suprema. Now, kapag umakyat ang isang kaso on an official act of the President, hindi po ito criminal case. Kung hindi, isa itong civil case para i-strike down o i-reverse ang kanyang mga desisyon o kanyang mga official acts. Ang halimbawa nito, noong panahon ni President Pinoy, strike down ng Korte Suprema yung Priority Development Assistance Fund o yung iba't ibang bahagi ng DAP o Disbursement Acceleration Program ng mga dating administrasyon. Maaari rin gumamit ng writ of amparo o habeas data kung sakasakaling may mga puwersa na pinag-utusan ng Pangulo na mag-surveillance o mag-conduct ng iba't ibang mga acts na posibleng meligro ang seguridad ng mga individual. Pangalawa, political accountability. Ang Congress maaaring mag-imbestiga ng mga acts ng ating Pangulo, legal or otherwise. Ito ang mga paraan. So halimbawa, dahil may power of the purse ang Kongreso, ito po ang nagre-review at nag-approve ng national budget. Pwede silang mag-defund ng ilang mga proyekto kung sa tingin nila hindi ito naaangkop. Maaari din silang mag-reject ng confidential or intelligence funds. Alam na alam natin to. Maaari din silang mag-realign ng mga budget para hindi matuloy ang ilang agenda ng Pangulo. Sakop ito ng political decisions ng Kongreso. Maaari din silang mag-conduct ng oversight hearings. Ano to? Ibig sabihin, binabantayan ng Kongreso ang pag-execute ng batas ng executive. Kung paano nila ginagampanan ang kanilang role bilang executive. O halimbawa, naglabas ng isang batas ang Kongreso, maaari silang magkaroon ng oversight hearings kung tama ba ang pag-execute ng batas. Or kung mali, ano ba ang dapat palitan doon sa batas. Hindi mapoprosecute din ang Pangulo kung mali ang pag-execute ng batas. Ulitin natin, immune ang Pangulo from criminal acts. However, doon sa official acts, maaaring baguhin ng Kongreso yung batas o sabihin na hindi ito angkop doon sa kanilang intensyon para gawin yung batas na yon. In some instances, pumupunta ang Kongreso sa Korte Suprema para i-reverse ang desisyon ng executive to execute the law in a certain way. May Commission on Appointments. Matagal na natin pinag-uusapan ito. Ang Pangulo ay nag-a-appoint ng cabinet secretaries, ambassadors, at certain military officers na kailangan i-review ng Commission on Appointments. Maaaring i-reject or i-bypass ang mga appointments na ito. Nakita natin ito panahon ni Rodrigo Duterte in the case of Ms. Gina Lopez. Nagbago rin ang rules ng Kongreso ng panahon na yon para hindi na kailangan i-reveal ang minutes ng diskusyon ng Commission on Appointments. Very controversial po ito. Gayunpaman, isa itong power ng ating Pangulo to review, power ng Kongreso to check the powers of the executive. Ang ombudsman naman ay maaaring mag-imbestiga ng acts of the president. And yes, nakikita natin na mayroong kasong nakahain sa ombudsman against the vice president. Allowed din po ito even if she is an impeachable official. So maaaring mag-imbestiga. Kung may finding, halimbawa, against the president for criminal liability, kailangan intayin na hindi pa siya presidente bago i-file ang kaso na ito. Maaaring
Ibig sabihin mo pala pagkatapos ng termino nitong si Marcos Jr., marami-rami ho siyang kasong kakaharapin. Kasi ngayon pa lang nakikita na ho natin na ika nga, hindi ho tatantanan na sambay ng Pilipino itong magnanakaw na to pag nagkataon.
gamitin din ang ombudsman sa pag-iimbestiga ng mga appointee ng Pangulo kung sila po ay lumalabag sa batas. Ang Declaration of Incapacity. Ito, very controversial ngayon. Well, not exactly controversial. Pero ito ang tinatawag natin na currently the elephant in the room. Kailan dinideclare na incapacitated ang Pangulo? When the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. Yan po ang nakasaad sa ating saligang batas. Kadalasan, ang incapacity niyan ay tungo sa kanyang health. Pwedeng mental, pwedeng physical. Ang magdideklara niyan ay ang kabinet. Kung ang mayorya ng gabinete ay tingin nila hindi nakakayanin ng Pangulo na gampanan ang kanyang mga duties at mga obligasyon, maaari nilang padalan ng written declaration ang Senate President at ang Speaker of the House para i-attest or i-certify na hindi na po kinakaya ng Pangulo ang pag-discharge ng powers and duties of his office. Maaari ba, halimbawa, isang ordinaryong mamamayan mag-petisyon na ideklara ng gabinete yan? You can try. Pero, in the end, this is a discretion that is exercised by the cabinet. So, pwede ba silang i-compel? Posible kung mayroong grounds para ipakita ang incapacity ng Pangulo. And by the way, base sa latest jurisprudence, burden ng taong nagpe-petition kung paano patutunayan yun. Social and public accountability. So, ito yung sinasabi natin. Rallies, yung mabababang ratings ng Pangulo, ito ay nagdi-deliver ng some sort of accountability. Bakit? Well, ultimately, yung gauge ng public dissatisfaction sa isang sitting president will indicate the extent of his influence after his term. Wala po tayong nakikita na kahit sino mang presidente na, except for Duterte siguro, na hindi nag-worry tungkol sa susunod na presidente, lalong-lalo na kung kontrapartido. Of course, they will be concerned about the possibility of cases being filed against them after their term. Ano pa ang pwedeng paraan para ma-check ang powers ng isang Pangulo? Well, originally, the intent of the Freedom of Information Bill was a means to keep the executive good. Kumbaga, kailangan mag-disclose. Well, not just the executive, but dapat lahat. Pero, hindi po ito na isabatas. In the end, the President is immune from criminal liability while he is sitting. He is also immune from suit for criminal liability while he is sitting. But he is not immune from civil liability in the reversal of his decisions or the striking down of certain acts that are committed by the executive, particularly by the President. Okay. So ngayon, tignan na po natin ang inyong mga katanungan tungkol dito. Sandali. Dali lang po Unahin natin dito sa TikTok. Magpapasalamat pala ako dun sa ating mga gifters. Ubod ng sipag at tuloy-tuloy ang inyong suporta para sa Luminous. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. O po nating ayoko talaga makaligtaan ang pagpapasalamat sa inyo. So particularly dito, 127 Angeli, Dominette Jules. Magandang gabi at salamat po. Good evening kay Lou.
Salamat.
Sino pa ba?
Maraming salamat sa lahat
Angeli uli. O yan, sisipag talaga. Thank you very much po.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
kay Naoko for your support. Okay. At kay Vinoy. Tinatanong ni Vinoy, paano po nakalabas ng rehab si Trillian? Malakas pa rin tama niya. Grabe kayo sa kanya. Although, I understand yung current or many of the opinions against Senator Trillanes.
Dami na namang
Thank
galit
you
sa
kay
kanya.
Bong Mas 24 at kay Piping. Okay. Sabi ni Bong Mas 24, tuloy-tuloy lang ma'am. Okay. Next. Hi kay Gamora, kay Marilyn, kay NF Taborete, kay Uncle Luis, kay Chamay, kay Remusa Stores. Political appointees of the President to make that declaration, and there is no check and balance to that. So, kailangan intayin natin ang Korte Suprema na bigyan pa ng konting linaw yan. So, but last time, during President Duterte's term, mayroon pong nagpetisyon na to compel the President to take a drug test. The Supreme Court said, kung wala kayong basis, then you'll have to wait. So, before you, yung ginamit niya kasing basis for his petition ay newspaper articles which would really amount to hearsay. Now, are Amy Marcos's statements about the Bongbong Marcos hearsay? No. If she were to testify, she would have personal knowledge of his alleged misuse of prohibited substances. Sabi ni Allen, ano po feeling nyo nung nakaharap niya si Asidre? Kasi nanggigigil po ako talaga, tapos natatawa pa. Natatawa ba siya? Hindi ko napansin yun. Pero merong nag-comment sa akin na yung mukha ko daw kitang-kita yung feelings ko. Ganito po yun, I have a job to do to interview him. So hindi naman tayo pwedeng magsalita ng masama. But at the same time, mahalaga na makapag-deliver kami ng impormasyon. The rest, you will be able to read on my face. Wag na po natin dagdagan yan.
Kita naman Riniakan ho natin yun Talagang...
Sabi ni Bisayang Vendors, paano kung di tanggapin ng Kongreso yung inendorso ni Mike Defensor? Unang-una, hindi po nag-i-endorse si former Congressman Mike Defensor. Isa po siya sa mga nagre-reklamo. Posibleng ang pinopoint out nila, ang ma-point out ay kung walang nag-endorso ng kanilang reklamo.
Correct.
Ang plano kasi, if I'm not mistaken, binabasa ko lang ang news reports at nagsusumiti sila ng reklamo pero pangatlo na sila. Hindi daw tinanggap yung reklamo ng Makabayan Block, who will try again on Monday or tomorrow. Sabi ni former Congressman Mike, ilalabas na rin nila yung kanilang endorsers ng reklamo when or if they try again. So sa ngayon, ang kanilang stance is they are studying their options. So hindi natin alam kung magre-refile sila. Yung whether tanggapin yan or hindi is speculative. No, sabihin na nga rin natin na hindi tanggapin later on, kumpleto yung kanilang mga requirements. What can they do? Pwede silang umakyat sa Korte Suprema to reverse the decision of the office of the Secretary General. So, kasi it's attended with grave abuse of discretion. Sabi ni MJP, in case the President is not able to do his duty, can the Ombudsman or the Senate President take over or sabotage the takeover? The successor of the President is the Vice President. No, the Ombudsman cannot take over. There is no provision in the line of succession that the President should take over. Can the Senate President take over? No, not unless there is no Vice President. Okay? So, hindi automatic po ang Senate President. There is a hierarchy, that's true. Pero hindi pwede as long as there is a Vice President. Sabi ni Fast Gamer X, sa akin lang po ito na interpretation. So baka if the President is still powerful enough to control or fire them, the Constitution assumes that he is not incapacitated. That's very complicated, no? But siguro, basically, yes. Without going into nuances of capacity or incapacity. For example, what if the President is schizophrenic? He talks to people that are not there, but the cabinet is not capacitated to make that kind of evaluation. Sabihin pa natin na may DOH secretary, pero yung DOH secretary doesn't have the expertise to determine that. Can the cabinet call in experts? Yes, because there are certain cabinet officials such as, but not limited to, the defense secretary should always have access to the president. Sabi ni Ma'am Victoria, cool and composed si Atty. Tig sa spokes nang bumato ng diretsyong tanong kay Kong Asidre. Ako ang naiblat. Sorry po, ma'am. Sabi ni Razel's dad, kudos for holding your own and not giving Kong Asidre a dose of his own medicine. You're very composed as you can be. It is important for me to be able to highlight that in Congress, diba, the congressmen tend to go overboard, especially when they are conducting inquiries in aid of legislation. I want to show that it should not be done so, and that even if we have the same powers that they have to hold a person in his seat to answer questions, that we don't do that. Yeah. Sabi ni Jel Angeles, anong schedule ng The Spoke sa Billionaire po? May live po ba sa website? Yes po, may live yan sa website. The Spokes is Monday to Friday, 8 to 9 a.m. Pero hindi ako ang parating host. Marami po kami. In fact, bago yung co-host ko, last time, it was Attorney Barry Gutierrez. Kasi spokes siya dati ng Vice President before Leni Robredo. Sabi ni Ricky, since the President is undergoing surgery, shouldn't the VP run the country? Actually, it doesn't state in the Constitution. Ang nakalagay sa saligang batas, when the President becomes incapacitated. Now, that incapacity should be determined on the basis of his, kumbaga, if there is a significant amount of time. However, pwede rin, I think it's kind of a gray area kung sasabihin natin dapat presidente i-compel na ang vice president ang mag-manage. But as the problem has always been, may mga instances na kontrapartido ang vice president and therefore it might not be, kumbaga, conducive to an orderly turnover kung surgery pa lang, di pa natin na-determine yung full incapacity. It's also, well, tingin ko this is ripe for judicial adjudication. If the president is incapacitated for only a few hours, or there is still no understanding of whether or not he's incapacitated, should it be the vice president to take over? I think that's something for the Supreme Court to determine. But my personal opinion, it should be significant. So, kunwari, after surgery, based on the assessment, he is going to be unable to dispense his functions for a week. Kailangan bang vice president? Ako, I don't think so. Mahihirapan both ways. But, kasi ako, I'm hoping for bigger things. Maaari po bang matanggal si Senator Bato de la Rosa kapag patuloy siyang hindi pumapasok sa Senado? It depends. First, kailangan may mag-file ng reklamo sa kanya sa Committee on Ethics. It can be anyone. It can even be a fellow senator. Ang magiging basis nga ay yung hindi niya hindi niya ginagampanan ang kanyang trabaho bilang senator. Now, the issue there will be, kailangan ba na pumapasok siya sa kanyang tanggapan sa Senado para sabihin na nagtatrabaho siya? So, kailangan pa yan ng further clarification. Sabi ni Chlong, curious lang ako, anong basis ng law bakit may immunity ang sitting president against lawsuits? Para hindi siya ginugulo mayat maya. Kung maaari mong kalad ka rin ang Pangulo every so often, kasi kukuyugin talaga siya ng kaso. So, if any person can file against the president and file even criminal cases, mayat maya humaharap sa hukuman ang ating Pangulo and he will not be able to lead. Sabi ni Dom Ang, are you in good terms with Attorney Claire Castro? Nagkasabayan po ba kayo sa UST Law? Hindi po kami nagkasabayan because I went to UP Law and she went to UST. So, no po. Am I in good terms? The last time I thought I was, but, well, apparently, that doesn't show anymore. Gayun pa man, we still accord her the kind of respect she deserves as an officer of the court. Sabi ni Alex Padilla, Trillanes at De Lima nasa kulungan nung naging senador. Yep. So, thank you very much kay Haiza Kimik who sent a super chat from Lukban, Quezon. Hi. Thank you.
Ako, masarap po yung longganisa dyan. Ayun na nga mga kababayan, kung gusto yung tapusin yung video na yan, ito si Atty. Trixie Cruz Angeles, punta lang ho kayo dyan sa FB page niya, Luminous by Trixie Cruz Angeles and Ahmed Panglinawan. Maraming salamat to sa pagsuporta sa PH Update. Tuloy-tuloy lang ho tayo sa pagsuporta sa mga banateros, sa lahat ng Duterte supporter, sa lahat ng vlogger ng Duterte. No? Talagang kailangan ho natin yan sa mga susunod na panahon. Magkaisa para ika nga lumpuhin na natin itong administrasyon itong si Marcos Jr. Maraming salamat mga kababayan. Palakpakan natin itong Senator Trixie Cruz Angeles.